Foundation and familial topics are something that's really coming up strong in our systems. And I was with Washington having a conversation in the car, and I feel that conversation really broke through and brought a new realization in that I wanted to share with everybody as I was describing it in my way, and then Washington was describing it in his way. And when you work on such deep topics, it's really you need a lot of will there to break them. It's not comfortable when you work in these fields. So the work I do is may feel like it's not for you. For me, I know when these topics come up in me with the webinars, I feel my system reacts saying, no, it's not for you, Damon. It's not saying yes on my system, but deep down it is because it's not comfortable. And I liked the way you were describing it, Washington, in the car about how you were describing it with the milk.
Yeah. So if you come to such topics like familial traits or community traits, these are very heavy topics and they're very strong. And sometimes for my system or for your system to accept this, it might be a challenging issue. Yeah, because it's not something easy to accept or for the system to accept. So that's why you'll find the system is a bit shaking. It's not accepting it. Yes, you want, but still there is something not working very well with your system. So, and that's why I was talking with Damien and telling him in life, we have these topics, they're like milk. You know, when a newborn is, when someone delivers a child, the child will feed on milk. That's breastfeeding, right? Yeah, that's breastfeeding. So for like 0 to 6 months, at least the child is feeding on milk. And after that, you have to introduce something solid for you to make sure the immune system of the child is growing or it's becoming like,
Developed.
yeah, it's developing. So when it comes to such topics, if you start with a milk topic, I mean, this is a topic that you can take it and it doesn't affect your system. You are comfortable. You feel like, okay, I can work with my system with this topic. The system is very comfortable. But after working with that topic, you have now to upgrade. You have to go to another level. So another level to take something solid. And something solid, you're talking about now these topics like the familial traits and community traits because they are somehow heavy. So, and when you're taking something solid, it will at least shake your system because you are used to milk, drinking milk, but now you have to use some strength, I don't know, to chew. You are drinking milk, but now this one you have to chew. And you'll find yourself not comfortable chewing maybe bone or something solid because you're used to milk. But in real sense, when you're taking these bones, they're the best ones because they're now making you to become mature, more mature. And they're taking you in a place where you can face any kind of situation in your life. Because, you understand? Yeah.
It was interesting how you were describing it as well about the work. And I was saying that a lot of the time, for example, when I'm doing this work, it's like not many people like it, or they switch off from it, or it doesn't open up, or it doesn't spread. And usually people in the workshops I do, even when I was doing live one-to-one workshops, they were not always liking me, liking the situations. And you said it in a very rounded way, actually.
Yeah. I can even use the example of my grandmother.
Yeah.
Because when she used to work with people, after working with someone, she used at least to make that person to upgrade, to take another heavy topic. And these, my grandmother used to say, if I come up with a very tough topic, that's the best way because if she was there for collecting money, she can just come up with the milk topics, like the one for comforting, making you comfortable, topics that your system can take. But because she was not there for money, that's why she was bringing the best food. She used to come up with the best food for his children, I mean, for her children. Let me use that. If I say children, I mean like the people she is working with. So she was coming up with a very nice food, and the very nice food might be solid one. And the solid one, no one was, I mean, not everyone was liking the food, but it was the best food because she was trying to come up with something that will make someone be strong in his or her life. And she was not there just to collect money. But if she was there to collect money, she could be using the simple topics every time, the milk topics, the one you just take it and drink. But if someone comes up with heavy topics, these are to help someone. And it means these topics, they are for your own benefit to help you and not there for doing business. But if it's business something, if it's business thing, I cannot come up or someone cannot come up with heavy topics because he wants money. And if you run away, no money. But these topics, they normally come for someone who loves his people, for someone who loves his clients, to bring something that can make them strong in their lives. This is something that can make you be like in a very firm foundation so you can face any kind of situation in your life because you fed on milk, you fed on the solid foods, and you're now strong. So in life, if something comes in terms of milk, you've taken milk. If something comes in your life in a solid form, you've taken solid foods. This, I mean, solid topics. So you can even go about them in an easy way.
And it was interesting, we were talking about this, and I was saying as well, like when we were talking about it, we were saying, okay, oh yes, I do see, that's why you'll have millions of followers because you're giving them sugar, because you'll give them what they want, and it's sweet. So, and it's easy, and it's not bringing you to the next level because it's not, it's comfortable. So when you're really making a change in person's system, almost like what you said very rightfully, is that it's almost that you bring a person to the point that they don't like you because you're bringing them something that, I'm used to getting sugar, I'm used to getting milk, and you didn't bring me the milk now, you didn't bring the candy, you brought the solid food. And it's like, so I'm not giving you what you want, and I don't like you because you're not giving me what you want. But actually, that's the best for you. So what you were saying as well was very nice, like saying that, okay, the ones who will eat it will benefit. The ones who don't want it, it's okay as well. It's their choice, it's their free will. But when I'm in service, I will only give the food which comes true, which is the best to support the timeline, to bring you to the highest timeline. And most people don't want that food. Most people don't want that food. If I want more of an audience, I will give them sugar. I will give them milk. But that is not why I'm here. I'm here to give them what spirits tells me to bring true. So a lot of the topics, a lot of the webinars I do, for example, are bones. They're not sugar, they're not milk, but it will make you stronger. And you may not like it because when you switch from your sugar or your milk to your solids, a child doesn't like it first. It takes time to learn how to chew and how to digest. And it's up to you, and it's your responsibility. And that was coming through very strongly to share. And that's also why I see, for example, I'm always looking for, if I'm observing something or with anybody, I want to see results in the system. I want to see a transformation. I just don't want sugar. I don't want milk. I want to see results. And so that's why in life, I'm always checking systems, saying, is that person or is that system giving a result in the system that's bringing me, the time I'm spending with that person, is that bringing me meat in the system? Is that bringing me a change in my system? Is that strengthening my foundation? This is the questions I always ask if I'm working with somebody. I want meat in the system. I want to take the next step in the system. And for that, when I receive a session, for example, I do exchange sessions with some people, and my system doesn't want that session. Even during the session, my system is like, doesn't want it, but I go for it because I know it's meat. I know it's going to change my system. And it's very uncomfortable, the session. It's actually very challenging. I'm holding myself on the chair during the session because my system is rejecting it because I want the milk. I don't want the bones to chew on. So this for me is the topics we're working on in this webinar are not comfortable. And the last webinars especially have been meat and bones. They're not comfortable systems. So the system will want the milk. I don't give milk when it's not necessary in the system. I will give you the meat and the bones in the webinar series I do, because that's what I'm here for. And that is all I will bring true, is what your spirit can develop on. And if you need to smash the foundation and your spirit is asking my spirit to deliver the meat or the bones to build a strong foundation, that is what I will do, because that is the highest timeline for you. So I'm not here to give you sugar. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. I'm not here for you to love me or like me. I am here in service to give you the meat and the bones that your foundation can take the next steps in your life, because changes are not comfortable. Life changes are not comfortable. Breaking out of ancestral, cemented belief systems are definitely not comfortable, and you need a lot of will, and you need a sledgehammer to break it. And that's what these webinars are doing. They're bringing you the tools to break through what is not comfortable to break through.
Yeah. So like for me, I can just give an example, like in our families in Kenya, you are only allowed to be in your father's house, your parents' house from 0 age to 18. And when you are 18, they assume you are now a grown-up man, so you have to get out at least to be on your own. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why you feel during these years that I'm in my parents' house, they're providing for me food, they're providing shelter, they're providing clothes, they're providing everything. But now when I'm 18 years and above, they're telling me, now Washington, you have to get out. That's another topic, because I'm used to be fed and everything. So now it's now a time they're telling me you have to go out and make sure you stand on your own. So I find it to be so difficult. I like struggling a little bit, but after that, I'll get it to be useful to me, because after getting out, now my thinking capacity will expand, because I'm there and I am me and me, because now my parent there to help me, so it's me. So I have at least to expand my thinking capacity, what to do, how I can survive. So, and that's like making someone to
Develop.
Yeah, to develop, because you're now alone. So there is parents, but there's nothing you can ask from them, because they told you, okay, we did our best from 0 age to 18. Now the remaining you can. So that's a new topic in life. But after that, you'll find they helped in a way that at least you are someone, you have expanded your thinking capacity, your mind, the way you approach things is different, the way you do things, it's very different in a nice way. And if I come back now to these topics, like the familial trait and the community trait, these are topics that you have to be ready to face. And they are not like dangerous or no, they're very nice topics, because they are making you strong. And this is something that's giving you your own, it's you who is now making your own foundation. Because in the previous years, maybe you are living or you built your house on someone's foundation that you don't know the agreements of the foundation. You don't know what was done before the foundation. But these such topics like the familial traits and the community traits, these are topics that they want to make you have your own foundation. You have to lay your own foundation. And laying a foundation, a strong foundation, it's not anything to do with the milk. It's to do with something strong. Because to have a strong foundation, you have to get like heavy, the metals. Is it metals? Yeah, like metals, cement, and stones. So for your foundation to be strong. So these are some of the topics we're talking about. And also facing such topics, it's like someone who is in a military force. If you are going to fight in a military, is it right? Yeah,
Yes,
like
it's
in a
correct.
military.
Yeah.
So you have to put on your helmet, you have to put on your chest shields, you have to put on boots, you have to arm yourself like strongly, because whatever you're going to face, it's also strong. So you have to arm yourself like completely, and you have to say, I am going to fight it. So you are not supposed to say, let me try, because such topics you cannot say, let me try. That's why you'll find they are shaking the system. So you have to arm yourself in a strong way, in a proper way. When you're facing such topics, they might shake your system a little bit, yes, but when they're shaking your system, it means you are also shaking their system. So it's now a fight. And a fight, you cannot allow them to defeat you. It's you to defeat them. So that's why it's obvious the system will shake. And after shaking, it means you're now in the process and you have to become a victoria.
Yeah, and you have to break through, like determined. This is a moment of determination, of moving through, of being fierce, of breaking through, because it's going to keep like hitting all the points, and it's like go for it, go through that wall, break through the wall, and it's not comfortable to break through that wall.
Yeah.
It was interesting when you were talking. My mum was popping up, and I remember I think I was 16, and I had my first wage pack, and I went home with my first wage pack, and I was going to spend the whole thing on myself, of course. And my mother says, "Okay, now give me the wages," and she took from the wage. She says, "Give me, the food and board." And I said, "Sorry, mum, what?" And she says, "Now you pay for the food and board because you're an adult now. And now you have to pay for the food and board because now you're part of the whole household." And I remember that experience, and I love my mom for doing that, because that was such an important thing for me to develop and to do, was that she gave me the responsibility as a man to provide for the household, because now I'm providing money into the household and I'm part of that household, and I have my part to pay there, the price to pay there in the system. And then there was a point where I felt, okay, I'm paying board, but now I want my freedom and independence. And I was okay, I need my own house now. Why am I paying board? So it sort of pushed me to leave the house earlier, rather than sitting there reaping all the benefits of the food and the comforts of my parents providing for me, that I had to provide also into the household. So it was very, I really honor my mom and dad for bringing that into the system, especially my mom. She brought it in very strong, that no, it's your time to provide, to give something to the household, because you're earning a wage, but you're not a child now, and you pay for your part. And of course I didn't like my mom that day. Of course I didn't want to give her the money, So
because she was shaking the system,
she was shaking my system.
giving a new topic.
Exactly. It's like, no, I want to be still the kid, I want them, I want to earn my own money and spend it the way I want. And she was like, no, no, no. This is for the food, and this is for the board. So, and this is what this workshop is doing. It's bringing you into an adult state and giving you a responsibility to make your own life. And the foundations we've been brought on are built on is not always, some of it's good, and then some of it is really capturing us in the system, especially the traits of my community, of my country, and my town. I remember in when I was in Dublin, like I'd noticed that people would never leave a certain area of the town. They have a child and they buy a house in that area, not even off the next street, because it's a different system. Every almost address had their own systems in themselves, and they couldn't break out of it. So I was always fascinated to see people continuously, generation after generation, just staying in that little compartment, that system within Dublin, for example, and not moving to the next town. And it was really interesting to see that play out in people's lives. And I was really conscious of it, and conscious that I was not playing that. But it was something that was uncomfortable for me to break from that system, because it wasn't familiar. It wasn't easy. It was different, and the system was going against me. And that was something that I wouldn't play into. I never played into those roles that society was putting me into, and what was expected of me. And it was very strong. It's very strong when you're in these community systems. It's very natural and it's very easy because everything in the system around you supports you to maintain that belief system structure. And that is what is so tricky about it is, I remember I moved from an apartment to a house, so now you have a house, you should have a wife, and, a child, and this is how we behave on this estate. And I was like, no, I'm not going to play your role, and the system was shaking, the neighbors were shaking, saying, you're not doing, you're not, you should have a nice car. I was like, I don't need a nice car, and they were triggered because they didn't have a nice car. So all these things were these community traits, you're living in this address, so you should have the nice car, you should be in the right school, your children should be in the right school, you should wear these type of clothes because you're part of this community now, we let you in because you're wearing the right clothes, you have the right watch on, so these are all examples of the different traits, and they're really cages in themselves, and you can really conform to that if you're not aware that you can break free of it and you do not need to behave like that. It's like what happened 2 years ago. Wear the mask, wear the mask. Everybody, oh, I'll wear 2 masks, I'll wear 3 masks, So that is an example of how the conditioning comes in from the collective. So what conditioning is in your system? And it's not easy to say, no, I'm going to be the one person in the town not going to wear the mask. I'm not wearing the mask because it's not right for me. It doesn't feel right for me. So these are the parts where it will be triggering and it's not comfortable and people may not like you for it. Your system may not like your programming will definitely not like you taking part in this webinar. Your own system, not the people around you, your own system will not like that you're taking part in this webinar for the simple reason is you're coming out of those systems. Very, very strong.
Very strong. And that's I can give, like my grandmother used to tell me, Washington, if you find someone who gives you something that seems to be strong, maybe something that seems to be shaking your system, but it will benefit you, that person loves you and he cares for you and he wants good for you. But if you find someone who is giving you something that is sweet and it's not making any change in your life, then that person doesn't like you. That's why she used to say, like, if someone is giving you something, like, let me say, like the topics and everything, like they're strong. Yes, they are strong. I myself, I know the topic is strong, but because I love my people, I have to give them the topic because I know after this topic, it will make someone strong. It will make someone have a new strong foundation. And because I love the person, I love this, my people, I'll give them the topic. So whoever takes the topic positively and strongly, it will help.
And that is playing out very, very strong in the community. It's a shadow in the community is, especially with coaching or in this field of transformation is like, it's very, very tricky because you will get millions of followers if you conform to giving them the milk, and your followers will keep growing and developing because you're giving them what's sweet, what they want. So it looks like the real thing, but then that you have to ask, is that person really connected to their spirit? Or are they serving themselves? Are they serving themselves? So is this a wolf in sheep's clothing? Is there an aspect of their shadow aspect which is running the show? Or is it sincere and authentic? Is it truth? Or is there a mask in the system? And that's where the false gods comes into the system. So you really need to question the system or be able to discern from who's serving the milk in the system and who's serving the masses. What I perceive normally is milk or sugar. and salad dressing in the system. I don't see results. So then I ask that person who's doing it, are you serving truth? Are you serving for your people? Or are you giving sugar because you want more sugar yourself? That's what I perceive at the moment. And that's very uncomfortable. It's easy to go down that road. And it's a tricky road if you have bills to pay and you have a family to feed. It's very easy to be distracted into serving milk and keeping it comfortable to have more followers, to have more finances, to have people who will stay with you, support you. You will keep serving them milk and honey and not bones. Bones are uncomfortable. Meat is uncomfortable, and people will not like you when you serve the meat. They want the sugar, they want the honey. And that is where it's challenging if you're working with, in this field to serve meat, because when you serve meat, the people don't like you in general. They don't want it. I want you to keep giving me honey. Give me the honey.
Yeah. But
So.
it's good. You cannot drink milk when you're 20 years.
Grow up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
15 years. I'm still I'm still taking milk. 20 years. No. So at least you have to grow. That's why these heavy topics, sometimes I normally like them, because they make someone grow. And they also make someone to be in a position where you can also be able to help someone else. Because if you take these topics and you defeat, like you are now strong, you went about them and you defeated everything, you are now like stable. So if there is someone else now who is still feeding on the milk and he's experiencing now the solid problem, so if he comes to you, you can help that person and you can get a reward from the even ancestors, because you help someone, because you've taken these topics, you are strong and you can help someone else. Understand? Yeah. So in life, you can find you're helping people.
And that's why we're here, is to allow spirit to flow through us and be in service. And there's always a ripple effect in every field, So being in service is very, very strong, and it's uncomfortable, it's messy. And I would choose no other way, because it's truth, And it's really a time I feel that everyone is a leader and everybody can be in service in their own unique way. And on the mainstream level, the governments have been feeding milk. The masses have been fed honey and milk. And it's time they eat the meat. And to eat the meat is very uncomfortable. So there's a huge shift on this planet at the moment of people who want meat, because they know the difference between the honey and the meat, and they want meat. Truth is the meat, and truth is not comfortable. So they want the sweeteners. And that is really free will, because we're here on this planet as free will. So my question to everybody is, do you want honey or do you want meat? And are you ready for the meat? Because for the meat, you need to show up. For the meat, you need your will. For the meat, you need consistency. For the meat, you need dedication and responsibility. And when you set an intention on the meat, it's a transformation in the system with a result. So it's the highest timeline in the system. We can always spin the milk ones. It will always bring us back to the same timeline, but it's a very, you lose energy and it takes a long time. So creation, it's interesting. I was picking up a shell this morning on the beach and it was beautiful spiral in it. And that is creation. It will always help us to evolve. So creation will always deliver the highest timeline, but the highest timeline is not the comfortable one. It's not the easy one. It's the one which pushes your system to break free of the old cages and the old traps. So I'm not here to carry your cross. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. I'm not here to allow you to love me. not allow, but for you to love me. I'm here to bring in service whatever spirit brings true in moments on a timeline, to bring in the highest timeline for everybody. And that is showing up and bringing true topics, which is uncomfortable for me and is a lot of work for me. And I know it's not comfortable, but I know it's truth. I know it's the right way. So I invite you to show up and to be aware that when your system is reactive, saying, I want the milk, I want the milk, you need to know that the shaking or the no may not be the real no. It may be that your system wants the milk. The baby wants to keep taking the milk and the honey and doesn't want the solids. The solids are not comfortable. And that is change, and that is transformation. And that is a huge opportunity for growth in your system. And the timeline at the moment is about, we are all leaders. We are all leaders. And we don't need anyone to carry our cross. We are all leaders. We can all handle it. And we can grow and develop. And we can face and break through the challenges which are happening at the moment. And then comes the ease, and then comes the joy, and the rewards happen naturally in the system. So thank you, Washington, for sharing this conversation in the car this morning. I felt it was really, really important to share with everybody. And that is what the webinar is about. It's really about facing topics which are so ingrained in your system that it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be a no in the system. It's going to look like, I don't want to be part of that, because it is going to break through systems. But these are the topics that I feel, well, that I'm getting in the system, that I personally have to break through to take the next step. Because if I want to be a pure creator, connected to spirit, connected to my essence, I need to break through these old ancestral traits. Otherwise, I'm just going to play out the same story again. But I need to make room for my spirit to be comfortable, to play, to deliver, and what I'm here to deliver. And if I got one of these traits in the system, which is running my system, I need to get that out of my system. So it's about really showing up in an authentic way as a soldier to break through what's in your system, because these systems are heavy, these systems are messy, these systems set off your alarm bells not to do. And these are the biggest gifts. Always when you find someone who has the biggest breakthrough, it's usually when they had an accident, it's usually when they had a breakdown, because that's when the real life change happens. These are heavy topics, and they take power and will to enter the system. That is my feeling at the moment.
Yeah, so by taking these topics, they'll make someone to become a strong woman or a strong man in life.
Well, it's like, I know I was working, with there was a webinar I did about initiating from boy to man, woman, girl to woman. And you do that a lot in the tribes as well.
Yeah, we do them from girl to woman.
Yeah,
from boy to man.
But they're not comfortable things to do.
They're not comfortable. Yeah, we can discuss that on
another time, but that's the whole thing in itself. But yeah, they're not comfortable.
Yeah, they're not comfortable at all. Yeah, but the good thing is, after taking these topics, after breaking them, you will see the results. And after seeing the results, you'll never want milk in your life again, because the results are like enormous, like huge one. So you'll never even think about milk, and you can even regret, why was I taking milk?
Why did it take so much time to get here? Why did I do this years ago?
I wasted my time taking milk.
Yeah. I often have that feeling after I receive a session and I have a massive breakthrough. It's like, oh my God, my life's so different now. Why didn't I do that 10 years ago? I wasn't at the right time. But it's like, that's how it feels. It feels like, whoa, I didn't see all this creativity. I didn't see all this power. I didn't see all this juice in life. And now I can live life. So these are the rewards you get. You get huge results, huge rewards in the system when you go through these systems and you break free from these systems. It's very rewarding and it's very beautiful. So I invite you to be part of this webinar and to eat the meat, in the system and come ready for the webinar and look at your system and face your system.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you for sharing
Thank
Washington
you
and
too.
your ancestors and my ancestors too. Take care.